Hi everyone, welcome back to our ASM How To video series. My name is Osama Al-Khatib and I am your Customer Solutions Architect. In today's video, we will be covering real browser monitoring, where you can simulate an entire business transaction, an entire journey, and you can use multiple recorders and you will have a video showing the proof where a potential end user can get stuck. We use Selenium based scripting, so we're not using anything that is proprietary, and pretty much we have multi browser support. So let's get started by getting a user journey recorded. I've gone to our demo application called TixChange, which is a web application for purchasing tickets with the ability to log in. And we want to be able to capture that entire user journey for ASM. We will be doing that through a Catalone recorder, which is an open source recorder, and you would need to essentially get a browser extension for that. So in my case, I'm using Chrome. Um, Simply go to the Chrome Web Store, search for Catalone, and of course, I already have it added. Once you have it added to your browser, it will appear in the upper right hand corner. Now, it is essential once you have it added that you also enable it for incognito mode. So in here, it's enabled. If I go to details, I want to make sure it's also enabled for incognito mode. And the reason that is when we record these scripts, we want to make sure they're incognito, i.e., they don't have any cookies cached. There is nothing that's cached in the browser, simulating a very clean experience as it's going to be replicated from the many stations that we have deployed. So that being said, let's go ahead and record our very first script. So now that I'm ready to record my very first script, let's go ahead and open an incognito window. And we'll go, first thing is launch our Catalone recorder, the extension here. As I click that, for most of you, it's the first time you'll see a blank slate. So we'll go ahead and potentially click new and give this a name, Tix Change RBM for real browser monitoring. You can name it whatever you like. And I'm going to go ahead and click record. As soon as I click record, it will minimize for this window so we can start capturing our user journey. So I'm going to go straight to our public facing demo site here. I'm landed in here. First thing I'd like to do is sign in, and you can start seeing prompts that everything is being recorded. I will go ahead and enter the username. Next, I will enter the password and go ahead and hit submit. Once that's done, I'm potentially interested in testing, looking at concerts, maybe looking at this particular product ID for John Elton, and then adding it to my cart and proceeding forward to checkout. So as I continue through this sample application, just going to take our default values for our demo's sake and finally hit continue, and we've submitted this transaction. Thank you, and I'm going to go back to the main page. I'm satisfied with recording now this user experience. At this point, I'm going to click back on my Catalone recorder and I'm going to hit stop. You could see the entire user journey in here. You could even play it back if you choose to within the recorder and also export it. So we're really interested in exporting it. So we could go ahead and load this into our ASM tenant. As I export it, make sure you select the XML format and we'll go ahead and just copy it into our clipboard. And of course, if you choose to edit the script, you could do so once you have it in Notepad or Notepad++. whatever your favorite editor is. So once I have it in here, if I would like to make any manual changes to it, I could do so. If you want to use different Selenium commands, you could do so. There are several that are supported and documented in our portal. In fact, if you just go back in here into our supported Selenium commands under our ASM monitoring, you'll see everything that's supported for building a WebDriver. And even instructions on using Catalone Recorder as a basic. So with that, let's go ahead and save this script and get it uploaded into our tenant. So go ahead and save this. Make sure I change this to all files. And I've already done a similar script, so I'm just going to go ahead and override it. So we'll go ahead and hit save, place. And with that, I'm ready now to create my remote browser monitor for this user journey. So let's go ahead and go into our ASM tenant. I already have an open tab for that. The first thing that you'll land on is your dashboard. So at this point, I want to go into monitoring in my left side menu, click on monitors, and you will see all your monitors that you've created here in the past. That are active and different types, so on and so forth. But today's video is really focused on remote browser monitoring. So go ahead and click on New Monitor. And my focus is Real Browser Monitors. And we'll select Web Drivers. If you ever get lost or kind of confused within ASM, the beauty is you have little question marks here sort of to help you be guided through and kind of give you hints throughout the process. So as I click on that, I'm going to go ahead and give this a name. So we'll just go through the steps of it, and really within minutes you have a browser monitor up. So we'll call this Exchange RBM test. At this point, we'll select the script that we've created, Exchange monitor, and we'll get back to this masked version in a second. So I'll click on open, and I can even preview the script that I just uploaded. I could see the entire user journey in here, the values. So you even see the username and password. It's displayed in plain text. You can choose to pass this as a variable and then store the username and password in our encrypted database, and I'll show you that in a second. And you can label the different stages of the script as you choose. You can add additional script parameters. You could choose the browser. We'll stick with Chrome. Timeout in seconds. So this was a fairly fast user experience, so we'll leave it 20. Some might be more complex, so you might want to add additional time to it. And if you want to alert a particular contact for the script, I have myself, and you can assign it to a folder. And in this case, I've already created a folder in advance called RBM demo. Now I could go into advanced. I could add additional tags, notes, create different thresholds. So if it's taken longer or shorter time to be alerted, I can pass the username and password, and hopefully we'll get the opportunity to do so shortly instead of having it in plain text in the script for the authentication and additional metrics if you'd like to use a proxy and other information that you could populate in here for your advanced configuration. From a location perspective, we can choose random. We can go with all our public stations. In fact, we can go only with our on-premise stations. So if this was potentially an internal application only, then maybe that's all you need to do is care about your on-premise stations. And we've done that in a previous video on our how-to series. So make sure to check that out if you're interested in looking at deploying an on-premise station. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and select all stations. I'll even include my on-premise monitoring station. I'll look at my check period, 5 minutes. We can span that all the way to 24 hours. and you can specify the window and the days. Potentially, maybe you have certain outage windows that you don't care about at all. And then alerting, you can have it after 2 consecutive errors, never, immediately, whatever is suitable for your application, how mission critical it is. The idea behind it is, proactively if you're suffering an outage or an error in your application based on the release rollout, um, or even could be an ISP outage. And then, of course, additional knobs you can turn from reminders as well. So at this point, we're ready to go ahead and save. Once saved, the first thing ASM does for you is test that monitor. So we have to give it some time. We've put the timeout at about 20 seconds or so. So it will take its time now. It has a script. It's running through the script in the background using Selenium based. And this is coming from now our random stations. At this point, you could see that we have a detailed analysis. It has tested the script. Everything came back okay. We have the monitoring details with the name I've given it, the host that we reached out to, and this could be anything, maybe Broadcom.com, whatever it may be. Any special ports that were selected, the type, all that good information about the monitor, and of course the metrics from resolve time to connection, processing, and transfer. And of course it's telling you which monitoring station this came out from, Finland, as you could see in here. And here's the magic. Uh, Essentially, I can just click on the video in here, and just that recording we did of the user experience, we could see that entire playback of it in here. And you could see it pretty much sprinted through this. You might want to adjust the parameters as needed inside the script if load times vary for your sites or applications that you're using. Now, I could close out of that. I could download this file at this point. If there is an issue, you can show this to your development team and they could see in real time where the break has happened. In fact, you could see the script steps executed in here. You can download that log file and then, of course, see all the browser messages in here as well. And then this is the best part is you get a complete waterfall chart for that experience. And you are able to then download these results so you can share with your team. You can go with a full screen view, very granular. You can expand this and get the detailed information for every step. So we started off in index, and you could see all the header information, HTML, whatever it may be that's available in this waterfall for you. And then, of course, any breakage that would happen would be flagged off in here. Everything checked out okay, and all the relevant checks have been good to go with a description of okay. And at this point, if I wanted to maybe get a permanent link for this full report, I can copy that, send it over to interested parties, or maybe I want to get a permanent link for the latest check results of this monitor. So as it continues to check on that 5-minute interval, they'll get up-to-date information. Now, something to keep in mind under relevant checks in here, as this monitor continues to run, you'll start seeing additional entries. And if there is an error or a code issue, it will be thrown off in here. Maybe a potential geolocation that you're coming from has an issue with your site, just based on that country's firewalls or the ISPs in those locations. Now, I'm ready to activate the script. So once I hit activate, it is now up and running. Remember, I included it in my RBM demo folder. So it has a green check mark next to it. It's a WebDriver type. It's alerting me, and it's running every 5 minutes. So as you could see, within a few minutes, we were able to record an entire user journey. We were able to then export that and then deploy it in our ASM tenant. Now at this point, we can go leave this script and walk away. It's running, but I'm really interested in masking my username and password. I don't want that to be available in plain text in here, uploaded in a simple script from a security standpoint. So I am going to go ahead and edit this monitor real quick and upload a modified script. So in here, I just go ahead and edit the monitor. I could download the script, but obviously we just generated the script and I already have it downloaded. So let's go ahead and edit it on our computer. I've already sort of went beforehand and created a masked version. So for the sake of comparison, I'm going to go ahead and open both of them. So to my right is the masked version. To my left is the original version. And essentially what I did is I wanted to mask my username and password. So you could see in here, username and the username 1 is passed. And so instead I want to pass a variable called username. So we have predefined variables that you could use to pass along. Check the documentation. There is plenty of options that you could include in these Selenium scripts. And the same thing again for password. As you could see here, we were passing a password. I'm okay sharing these passwords because this is just a demo environment. And then as you can see here, we've set up a password variable that we're passing. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and upload this modified script and then put in my username and password in an encrypted in the encrypted database. So back to our monitor, we're going to go ahead and upload the new script. So select script. I've labeled this one to exchange monitor masked just for my own sake. Click OK. I can preview the script, make sure it's in good shape, and you can see here the values that we're passing, username and password. And now remember, going back into our advanced, at this point, I might want to put in the username, which is username1, and our password, username1, and then make this a basic authentication. Now, depending on how complex your authentication is, you can include that in here. So now I'm going to go ahead and save. And as soon as I hit save, it will test that monitor again to make sure it is in working order. So we'll go ahead and wait for this. It'll take a few seconds as it goes through that. And hopefully we'll see a new interesting station that it made the checkpoint from. And there you go. This time we came from Canada. And we got the different resolve times, all the same information. The script ran good. I could even see the video playback. You could see that entire user journey just sprinted through it about 7 seconds or so. And it was able to log in and pass that variable just fine. And I'm going to go ahead at this point and just activate it and leave it active in my environment. To wrap this up, we have now created a real-time browser monitor to monitor a user journey on our demo site to exchange, and we recorded that journey using the Catalone recorder. We then saved the generated XML script and uploaded it into our monitor, and once it is uploaded, we applied the desired settings. We then in turn saved and tested the script, which behind the scenes sent the commands to the Selenium server. In turn, it plays the recorded script in the requested browser, and we then get a generated video recording of the journey and all the performance results from the script run, as you've seen in the waterfall chart and other metrics that were given. So hopefully you're now empowered to generate your own scripts and have seen how easy it is and simple it is to do. Thank you for watching this how-to video, and don't forget to check out the rest of our videos in this how-to series. Take care.